I'm gonna bring that box in here. I was gonna take the box to storage, but I'll bring it in here for now. So we're missing two cuffs. I think Traz might have one cuff, and I think that dude with the belt and shit has the gun in the cuffs. Dude that was playing the police. And you know, who was that? Player Ham that said that you need to put that one poster on the shirts. Who said that to you?
What's mic you on?
This one. I'm on this one. I could do like that stupid nigga that was on that TV show, run from back and forth using different voices. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm three different people and shit.
So Ham said he want to put the stuff on the shirt, huh?
I thought that was Ham that said like put that one poster of all you guys on a shirt, and I was like,
I
if
don't
you
know.
did 25 shirts like that and bundled it, with the jacket and shit, that'd be the next best thing to like, to sign autograph posters.
Well, I mean,
Because we're only doing 10 of those.
well, yeah. So it's like,
So let's give somebody something else too that they could try to bundle with the jacket.
you don't really. So you bundle the poster with the jacket, right? Yeah, So
Yeah.
when you release a single, right, you have a limited edition merch, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so everything that's happening with Big U, like,
Mhm.
you already know how I feel like it's a miscarriage of justice. Like,
Mhm.
I get the public narrative around his name, the implications and what happened with his homeboy and all of that. But like when you on the inside, you really feel like you understand more or less what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see it differently. I mean, you don't like I know, like in my hearts of hearts, I don't believe that man had nothing to do with what happened with NH, and it just wouldn't make no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But you seeing it from a street and cultural view.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. Everybody else is getting it from a governmental media driven, view. We're sensationalized, crime and evil is sensationalized, like that's the glory in it that they want people to see. You know, you don't see that. It's not glory
No,
to you, it's life, you know the truth.
yeah. Um, I guess it's like so I feel strong that like I could support him because I actually know his case.
Yeah.
He like, you know, I take a lot of slack socially, on social media because like I really care about the words and charges that people have. Like
Mm-hmm.
people feel like I defend R. Kelly, and it's like, nah, man. Like I'm just telling you, R. Kelly don't deserve 35 years.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have more time than Sammy the Bull Gravano. Like
Yeah.
that's not justice.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of people looking at how they even come into this, I could see if his charges came to this, then I wouldn't have nothing to say. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If his charges added up to that, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have nothing to say. Like if
Mm-hmm.
it was like they charged him with, statutory rape,
Mm-hmm.
or they charged him like they charged him with, you know, pornography with a minor. It's a federal
Mm-hmm.
charge. If you sleep with somebody under, I think 16 or under, you record it, it's a pornography charge. Even if you're 16, it's a
Mm-hmm.
federal charge that they could charge you with. That carries 7 years. Right. So it's a situation where he probably deserved to be in prison 7 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But not 30 some years.
he got more time and nobody looked at the charges.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't help it. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I take a lot of criticism because I just read.
So why you think nobody looked at the charges? Because they put the vision somewhere else and not the actual charges?
No, I just think people are so busy trying to look right in the eyes of what they consider the general public. Like it's a false sense of
Mm-hmm.
protecting brand, right? It's a false
Mm-hmm.
sense of protecting brand. And it just gets worse and worse. You know what I mean? So everybody's scared to kind of stand up and give their opinion. And, I don't know. I think people don't read 7 APPs. You will have to. Again, it's not that. So I'm watching him do things that's inappropriate legally. I'm watching him do things inappropriate legally. That's a couple more DBs since right now. 6 or 7 more DBs. All right there. Check it.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You go. You can even come down 3 more DBs.
Good.
Yep. So I don't know why people don't read the charges. You feel me? Like, I don't know. And people feel like it's right because they're making their own sense of justice in their mind and it doesn't fit what's happening. And I'm like, the problem is they're going to only misuse it for us. They're not going to misuse it for themselves. So that's my stance. It's not particularly about, Robert Kelly. It's about what's going to happen to the next brother. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they charged R. Kelly with a RICO, he's the only person of the organization charged that way.
So that goes back to Diddy then being charged with a RICO.
Right? Then guess what? Now they charging again. You can see how they start to fold it out on just brothers. Now they charging brothers independently with a racketeering charge. Independently. It's a RICO is racketeering, influence, and and corrupt organization. Organization. So how could you charge one person? Like I don't just buy the I don't care what people like. I don't look at the hoopla. I saw Surviving R. Kelly. I mean, I watched it and I saw every flaw in it. It didn't just the entertainment portion of it didn't just rile me up.
So the entertainment portion is what made people not look at the actual charges then?
Remember, they created the charges. Everything came from there based off of what happened. That's how they made their whole case. They made their whole case by that same exact thing. They made their whole case based off that television show. That allowed them to have enough outrage, you feel me, to for DA to see it and realize this could help, their career. This is a popular person.
And they know the public, it wasn't going to give no backlash. And they knew the public wasn't going to give a backlash.
Because they taint the mind of the general audience with a television show, right? And the sisters did him that way. Some sisters did him that way. You know what I mean? Some sisters did him that way. And they didn't care because all they felt like they morally set different than him. Morally. So it allowed, the system to really mistreat him. You know what I mean? Which is if he committed a crime, like they have him on tape committing a crime that carries 7 to 10 years.
So it's just like the people just gave him up, like here, you could do what you want to him.
Yeah. And it's like, but the fake morality in Black people, because they keep trying to side themselves with righteousness. But in America, that's like siding yourself with whiteness. And that's not going to be fair.
But there's no free R. Kelly shit going around, nothing. They just
it shouldn't be free R. Kelly. It really should be R. Kelly in jail for 10 years. It shouldn't be R. Kelly in jail for 35 years.
Yeah, but he's pretty much done his time then.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter because at this point, it's just not right.
Yeah.
And nobody sees it's not right because they want to run around. They don't care that they charge him with an actual law that was racist. That was created for Jack Johnson to not mess with white people, with white women. The Mann Act. That's what they gave him a ton of time. They gave him a bunch of time. They charged him with the same thing that they charged John Gotti with.
Yeah. You think now that Coach is here, we could start the, lunch hour and stuff?
It's already started.
Let people know let people know the lunch hour's here now.
I work.
So it's like it's just messed up. You know what I mean? And I'm tired of arguing with Black people. Like I'm tired, man. Like I'm so tired, dog. Like trying to whoop niggas in the shape to get them to see something past the falseness of they fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Or this fakeness attached to they fake, like it's just bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you cannot look right in this white world based off the laws. I mean, like again, and moving forward to what we talking about, you know what I mean? Guess what? They charge him with a racketeering by himself. They charge Puff with the racketeering by himself. Okay, cool. If you want to charge him with some kind of level of federal assault, if that case exists for fighting his old lady, charge him. But why is this man fighting life?
Because, like you said, they're adding people on there that he don't even know, never even talked to.
No, and
that's crazy.
And the crazy part to me is like it's a lot of civil ideas that's being conflated to criminal ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
And like nobody sees that because they so busy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, look how he did it. Shut the fuck up, man.
That's a civil matter. That's not a criminal matter.
And if it's a criminal matter, then let's charge him criminally. If this is a real society, charge him criminally. Put him on for fighting his old lady. That's what Cuz should be charged for.
Yeah.
Why are they charging him like he John Gotti? Why is he one person in the organization charged?
Thanks.
Like they keep doing this shit and nobody black sees it. You know what I mean? And I guess that was the point of starting this today was like, I really wanted to get into the thought of like how people see marketing. Marketing is everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, they able to control us with how they market somebody to us. We could have somebody like R. Kelly our whole life. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not like an avid, I'm not even a big fan of R. Kelly music.
I am.
I'm not. Like, I'm not even a big fan of his music. Like, all I see is a brother. Like, that's it. That's it. I met the man. I've been to the man's studio. I mean, I do think the man a little different. You know what I mean? Nigga, like, the nigga texting nigga, the nigga can't spell, barely could read. You know what I'm saying? Just came across really insecure, but that's fine. It shouldn't carry 35 fucking years. Puff, you know, when did Puff become this bully punching on niggas and all that? Like Puff punch on punk niggas. Puff ain't doing nothing to nobody of nothing, but they got this man in here and like black people don't even see it happening. That they just took somebody because they want to just look publicly or they think this is a video game. Like this is a real man's life. So back to the point, like with Big U, it's like I know the real case. So I could already see the conversations I'm going to have in the public about this case, right? It's a bunch of people that's going to be telling me that he has something to do with Nip Dunn, even though we all know what happened with NH, like, right? There's going to be people telling me about a kid that they wouldn't be charging him with a RICO, feel me, to give him 20 years if they could prove a murder. A murder carries the rest of your life.
Yeah, for real.
They're not going to choose. They choosing the RICO because the RICO is easy. It's not really about a crime. It's about taking petty crimes to make one big crime. They don't got to prove he murdered somebody. They don't got to prove even the person they saying he extorted is cap. That's really the truth. The nigga offered the money, and I hate that he won't. I hate that it ain't cleared his mind because I know the nigga. Like I know Monster. I hate that it ain't hit his mind yet. Let me just go do my 15 years. Let me stop trying to get out of it. Let me tell these people the truth that I actually offered this man the money because I wanted his look. I wanted his power in the city. I didn't want people to want to take stuff from me. I wanted the clout that this man possessed. So I was using his name ahead of time. And then when he came around to finally get at me, I offered him the opportunity to be in business just for his name. And then the times that I didn't want to pay, you know what I mean? You know, we would have problems. But no, it looks like extortion. And it's like I hear people tell me all the time how, oh, you get extorted in LA. And I'm like, where? Like I've been in this shit my whole life. Before I was a rapper, I was doing the same thing. I've been low riding, fucking up and everything in the streets my whole life. Where is this extortion happening at? I've been in the industry now 17, 18 years. Where was this extortion at? You think somebody ran up on Birdman and told Birdman they needed to pay for something? I would know. If they ran up and told Lil Wayne he needed to pay for something, cuz I would know. If they ran up and told Nip they had to pay for something, if Nip was paying his homies, I would know. If J-Rock was paying his homies, I would know. I'm the one person that would fucking know. If Kendrick had to pay people, I would know. These is people I fuck with for real. I've been to their houses. I know their kids. I know some of their parents. I would know. They talk to me about everything. There was a time, bro, and I never told this story publicly. There was a time when all of them little dudes they had their little issues with their situation. And they thought they wanted to do what I was doing, be independent and try to figure out their own thing. And I told them that would be the greatest mistake you ever made is not being in business with Top. Top is gonna go all out for you. It's nothing like having somebody that'll go all out for you. That's a real thing that happened. So I knew everything that was happening. Like I wasn't out of the loop. I knew when shootouts was happening. I knew who was beefing. I knew everything. So it ain't a bunch of extortion happening in Los Angeles, and I have no fucking idea. This is my motherfucking expertise. You know what I mean? Now, again, I ain't in everybody's business of crime, but for sure, it's going to come across my fucking desk that this is happening. So I don't know this extortion that they talking about. What I notice is people pay a bunch of money to be down with this shit. They historically have. They want to be down. This is the same argument I used to have with Pun. We was talking the other day about gangbanging. I'm like, bro, you want me to talk to a bunch of kids and not wanting to be gangbangers? Look at you. Look at your story. I see why somebody would want to get put on Southside Compton Crip. They looking at you. They like, man, I could have a Benz, be popular, have kids, girl, live my life, be famous, make money. Feel me? I could talk on a podcast. I could be respected. Feel me? Why would they not want to be from Southside? They don't know the person that got killed. And they definitely ain't gonna see themselves lower on the totem pole. I get why Crip Mac, spent his whole life, creating ideas of gangs and trying to formulate his own existence to find that camaraderie to the point to where he go through all these different states, and he finally become a part of a gang based in LA, in Nevada, because he found somebody that just wanted, that liked him, that fucked with him. So I know what it's like for them. I see why Snoopy badass. Like I look at somebody like Snoopy badass, right? Like people would laugh and make 1,000 jokes, right? But it's like he understands what's happening with this. So I see why he wants to be a part. I get why. You know what I mean? I totally understand the lore of it all. It is a different level of brotherhood. It is a different level of camaraderie. It is a different level of respect. The girls do look at you different. There is different opportunity.
And it goes back to that marketing thing. So they also know that like badass, he's smart on how he markets this and keeps himself relevant.
But here's a crazy thing, right? It's like I get why he wants to be a part. I don't get why other people in it want to have them apart. And I think that's been my issue. My issue is that what do they bring to the table? That's been my point this whole time. No Ceilings Live lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here at noon, Pacific Standard Time, Digital Soapbox. Sorry about Friday, man. I was at the airport. I didn't get a chance to set up.
Coach. What's up, brother?
We do this stream to support the No Ceilings podcast. Fresh episode dropping tomorrow. We're going to start putting all these streams up there, audio, so y'all can go back and listen to all these dope conversations and chime in on them. You know what I mean? We're going to tap in and get it cracking. But we do this stream to support the podcast, the No Ceilings podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcast from. No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. So I get why the marketing of gangs, right, is different.
Okay, I got a question we was talking about earlier. I get dough. You just go speak on that to me.
Okay, so we shot a video the other day, and Megan Kuniff, right, one of the best criminologist writers, like she covers court cases. A lot of people didn't know who she was in there. She was in this, it's this white lady in this music video. They like, what is this white lady just? And she really is a white lady. You know what I mean? But she really is. I've been watching her articles on writing. I've been following her on social media as she covers cases. She's like one of the most, introspective people I ever seen write about crime. Her and Alex Alonso, like they're really dope at writing, about crime. And she was at the video shoot, and people don't know how good she is. She's already polarizing. Like, you're a Tory Lanez fan, like people saw her as Tory Lanez fans, and immediately she just galvanized the reaction. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, like I didn't think about it. I just thought about the validity she would bring to the video idea. Right. I'm like, oh, that'll be dope to have her. You know, we actually, you know, like I'm a fan. And then she told me she was a fan of mine. She was like, well, I get dope. Right. And this was a record I put out. Cataracts. It was a Cataracts first record. The Cataracts ended up doing Fly Like a G6. They got like #1 records. They did some Snoop records. They like this really dope production group from the Bay Area. These two white boys. They got a couple #1 singers in the world. They like the shit, but their first placement was with me, and they made me this single called "I Get Dope." And it was at a time when I was struggling to make a record. I didn't even know what a record was. I just knew how to rap and make a hook half-ass and put it together. I didn't know what a record was for damn sure. And they made me the song. They had made it for somebody else. And they was like, oh, that glasses guy, it'll fit. We should give it to him. So they gave me the song. And I remember hearing it. And I was like, man, this shit is funny as hell because it had this poppy feel. They was playing this piano. You know what I mean? And then they did the hook. And it was like, I bet you think because you saw me on the TV, you know my whole life story. But let me tell you something you might not know. Fuck what you talking about, bitch. And it just took a turn to where it just got hella hard.
Yeah, that shit
fuck what you talking about, bitch. And I was like, oh, fuck what you talking about, bitch. Okay, I can make that part work. Fuck what you talking about, bitch. Yeah, that's it. That'll work. So I laid the song out. And I remember sending it to Birdman, and Birdman was like, this sounds crazy. He said, I like it though, but it's crazy. Like he said, it's gonna be interesting to see how it works. So we put the song out. We shoot a video. Shout out to Jeff Panzer, who is Cash Money's primary producer of all music videos. Just really dope, amazing white man, older white man. This man been doing rock videos. He do all Cash Money videos. And his I don't know if it's quite fair to call him his understudy, but Keith Brown. Keith Brown is another white boy. He's like my brother. Motherfucker gay. Crazy, you know what I mean? But that's my motherfucking nigga. Like, and I'll slump you over, cause he my guy. So, and it's important to tell that part of the story to make it make sense. So he always, to me, had like the most colorful vision. So when I wanted to do this video, I had to lean on Keith because Keith could make it be what it needed to be from a pop space. To me, that's who I really thought like he could see exactly how to cross our worlds. So Keith comes up with this dope idea where we rob a bank. You know what I mean? And we trying to get away with the money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. But at that time, I'm starting to get into, you know, more stuff about storytelling through films. So at this point, I want to shoot on film. And nobody in the music business is shooting on film anymore. Everybody's shooting digital. Nobody's shooting on no motherfucking film no more. So Keith figures out a way for me to shoot film. You know what I mean? We end up shooting 35. Which is crazy, right? They got some more money. We needed another 10,000. Keith went and bargained and got me another 10,000 at a time where I'm 4 records in. So I got certified. Certified blows up. It's a top 60 record in the country of all records. But then Haters is not working out. It probably is like 130. Sun Come Up is probably it kind of tanks, so it doesn't work. And here we are at I Get Dope. So it wasn't like I was in the best positioning. You know what I mean? I had a couple records that didn't perform well. And they was like, well, $75,000 is enough for a video. He's like, yeah, but he want to shoot film. So whatever Keith did with Universal, he got me the extra money. So we ended up shooting the whole video on film. And that was like one of the most important things to me in my life. That's why I love that motherfucker, man. Like, I don't give a fuck with nobody. I'll kill a motherfucker behind Keith. You know what I'm saying? So we go shoot this video. Video comes out dope. It's one of my best videos, right? And shout out to the 40s. They end up reenacting it in real life where they ride somewhere and they was throwing money out the car.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we put the song out. The video does well, right? The song is starting to do well. So here's the marketing part of it. So it's at Power 106. Power 106, the way, and this is what I be trying to educate people when they ask questions about how radio work, because everybody hear that term payola and think you could pay to have a hit record, and it don't work that way. Radio stations make money off advertisement, and advertisements are ads are based off listenership. How many listeners do you have? It's not really easy to tell how many listeners you have, so you really have to rank yourself based off of like where do you place yourself in the market based off how many people in Los Angeles or the tower, the antenna itself that it reaches. So they have this thing where, they test records, right? So if a record performs, right, it tests well, right? Scale to 1 to 5. They have a house phone where they call people and they play the hook of your song on the phone. They ask people to participate in the survey. This is how antiquated it is to this day.
Wow.
It's that antiquated. And you have to have a house phone. It doesn't work off a cell phone. It's a house phone or office phone. So you have to agree to participate. You have to agree to participate in this call. And so once you participate, you say, yeah, they play your song, the hook of your song on the phone. Have you heard this song? On a scale of 1 to 5, how familiar is it? On a scale of 1 to 5, how do you like it? Like it's 3 questions or 4 questions on a scale of 1 to 5. And that's how they rate your record. So the reason payola doesn't work is if your song doesn't test well and they play your song and people change the station, that one person can equate to roughly 100,000 people when it comes to ranking your station. It could be the difference of a Universal City Nissan paying you $150,000 in ads a month or $50,000 in ads a month. So they're not going to be playing shit that ain't testing. I don't give a fuck what you pay. It ain't enough money for these people to pay. It ain't enough money for a label to pay. Your shit just got to work. So shout out to I Get Dope because that's how it worked. It worked. Like my record started to test. Shout out to Lex. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table. Forgive me for this. To go through this. Lex says, I could have shot it on video and transferred it to film. I got to see this video. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to shoot it actually on film. Like that's kind of been my journey over this last 15, 16 years. It's just really authentic things so I can understand how it worked. Shout out to Mark Gear. He said, yep, this is how it works for us on TV too. Shout out to Lucky Lawrence from Chicago. Yep, I remember working in the station, Savannah, and counting the numbers as a teenager. So most people don't know that. So when they argue with me about Kendrick and they're like, "Oh, Kendrick, they pay up," you can't. The song just actually got to be a record. It's not nobody fucking with you, especially not no real big stations. Maybe if you like in Back Alley, Alabama, somewhere they don't have big ads or something, and the listenership might be like 4,000 people. Once you get into any of these major markets, and I mean major, like it could be small and major as Memphis. And Memphis ain't no small city, but let alone the 5 big markets, right? Which is New York, LA, Dallas, the Bay, Chicago. Those are the 5 major radio markets. So it's like you can't pay to have no fucking hit record there. You might could spend some money to get your record a chance. They could play it in the mix show and then test it. Let that bitch test at once. Let it test badly. Your shit is gone. It's over. It's just not gonna fucking happen. They are not fucking with you and missing out on no major dollars for your little funky ass fucking record. And I don't give a fuck who it is. So again, this is kind of the argument we have in marketing. Back to the point. So I Get Dope does well. These niggas is finna be the future. Mind you, they haven't made these other records. This is the first one. They haven't even made the other records yet. So the song is testing well. You know what I mean? Like maybe the second or third test, they test solid, then they start testing better, then it tested excellent. So you move up in sections, right? You have the regular, you move from mix show to rotation, rotation to heavy rotation to sub power rotation, sub power to power rotation. It's the difference between spins. Like a mix show, when they're getting ready to test the record and they're trying to get it familiar to the market, they might play your song anywhere from 15 to 25 times a week, depending on how it mixed. If you got a song that mixed really well, right? If you got a song that mixed really well, like, right, it's the same tempo, you can get a lot more opportunities. Straight up, right? Like if your song is 98 BPM and the number 1, 2, 3 in hit records in the world is about 100 to 96, oh, they'll be mixing your shit all the time. So instead of testing on, let's say 140 spins in a month, you might test on 200 spins so they hear more. But this is all the shit that nobody knows as a fan. And you don't know this till you, and there's a lot of artists that don't know this. I know this because I was taught by the best. Shout out to my OG, Julio G, who just got in the chat. Thanks, Julio, for popping in. That's why the hook is so important, because that's where they're testing. So just in case y'all think I'm crazy and shit, because I know everybody seems to think I'm crazy, but they not realizing I'm the type of person that pay attention
Crazy glasses?
all the time.
I never would have
Hosts think I'm crazy.
Coach.
Shout out to Castaway from the Bay. So as an independent, how you get in the system to get your record tested? You just have to you got to find a station that really want to give you a shot, and you have to find an independent person to work it and start kind of getting it to get into the mix show. But you really shouldn't be worrying about that right now as an independent. Like even right now, like I have a level of name familiarity at radio and some successful records. I just wouldn't recommend it. It's not worth the money. You know what I mean? It's not worth the effort. It's a lot of work just to be famous, and it's gonna tear your ass up. You understand? So we could politic Castaway from the Bay a little different, but I wouldn't recommend that right now. It's not time for that. Like that traditional. We gotta talk. That's a whole nother story. We'll do that on another day, because I got to get into that. Long story short, so they start testing the record, and Julio, remember, he was at Katy at the time. So the record starts performing. Like they tested, it's getting better and better, and it finally tests through the roof. So now it's at sub power rotation. Now Power 106 is sub power rotation record, right? When it comes to marketing, right, is roughly 35 to 50 times a week. That's how many times they play your song, right? That's 10 through 6 through 10. So the list of records ranking 6 through 10 is playing somewhere between 35 and 50 times a week. So the song is playing, right? It's doing well. I mean, people calling me. They're like, man, this song is amazing. Now, mind you, it's an 80 BPM song. It's an 80 BPM song. Make sure y'all show some love to my OG Julio G, man, right? So, man, this nigga is like, he's the first person that played my song on radio. Okay. And I didn't have a clean version, and he cleaned it up himself. He said, where's the instrumental? He took it and made it himself. That's how much he was into breaking acts from around.
What song was that, though?
There was a song on White Lightning called Therapy Session with me, Game, and Cam.
Oh, okay.
He was the first person that played me on Los Angeles radio.
And that was your first ever?
Ever.
How did that feel?
He made me come to K-Day. Shout out to Julio. He said, and mastered it. Facts. He did make it sound loud.
How'd you meet up with Julio to make that happen?
He just reached out to me. Julio, so I'm from Watts. I'm from 117th Street in Watts, right? 7th Street Watts Crib. Linwood is the neighboring city. So Julio just is like, original, kind of like real DJ from a real Los Angeles staple. And he always knew what was happening in the streets. So as my stuff was happening in the streets, he had a gauge. You know what I mean? He knew what was happening. So he called me straight up, reached out to me. Hey, man, I've been hearing good things. I heard some of your songs, man. Come up here. He invited me to the radio station. First time I ever went to a radio station. He had me come up to K-Day. First time I met Mac 10. Mac 10 was leaving Julio G. Straight up. And he said, man, I want to play this song. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. They're about to play this 200 song. He's like, nah, I want to play this song. He's like, you got to clean? I'm like, nah. And at that time, my engineer and the person who produced the album moved to Atlanta, Gary. So he was like, don't trip. It's enough space in this record for me to make it clean. And I was like, how the fuck is that possible? But, this nigga Julio like a real DJ. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he took, now I could do it in my sleep. But at that time, it was like, holy shit, it's like building a planet or something. How the fuck you don't do that? So he takes a clip and then he puts it over all the words. This is how meticulous his job was, just to support me to play this song. He took a clip of the song and placed it in every place they had the cuss words and clip it, so it just clipped the words out and played the instrumental instead. That's how tedious it is. Yeah.
Master. That's dope.
And nigga's a master, right? And he took that little clip and did that shit. It was like the dopest thing. And he debuted it. And I remember just thinking like, wow. You know what I mean? So fast forward, that's how that happened. So fast forward, we back to I Get Dope. Now, mind you, my first hit record, certified it's a hit record, right? It's my first hit record. It's my second gold record. It's 80 BPM. But at that time, Kanye West had Good Life out. Good Life is 80 BPM. It was the number one song in the country. I mean, it didn't go number one on radio, but it was for sure the number one in LA. So guess what? Certified got extra run because this is the number one song. Now, just keep up. 5 through 1, they get played anywhere from 80 to 120 times a week. Every one of those records. You can account for each one of those records. Those 5 records get played 600 times a week at Power 106. 5 songs. So that song gets played so much. So if you're mixing, most of Power 106's radio plays come from mixing, DJs mixing, blending songs.
Fitting that BPM.
Yep, fitting that BPM. So Certified got a chance. Akon is on the hook. He's the biggest nigga in the world. I didn't know that. Shit, I just made the record. That's how I got my first hit record. I didn't know. I Get Dope. Fast forward, 2010. There's no songs there that's 80 BPM. The Ratchet movement, the West Coast kind of found itself again. Ty Dolla $ign, YG, Mustard, Joe Moses, Problem. They kind of reestablished this party shit that LA had going. So now we back to like regular West Coast tempos, which is right around 90 to 105. This is an 80 BPM record, but it's testing well, right? So it's ready to go from sub power. It was up at number 6. They had a conversation like, hey man, this Glasses record is doing well. But if they made it a number 1 through 5 song, a power rotation song, that means they would have to add other 80 BPM songs. And they felt like at that time, my stardom wasn't worth them making that sacrifice. So it was a marketing decision.
Wow.
So they didn't move it up to power rotation. You know what I mean? Universal tried, but it was like.
How many years later did you find out about this?
About 7.
7 years later?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to one of the DJs, at Power 106. I don't know if he could say, if I could tell the truth, or say it out loud, but he explained to me what happened. Like, man, it was like a big thing. He said, we really rooted for you. And DJs in LA have always shown me love. I don't care if it's Power, K-Day, period. Everybody, even the programmers, even if E-Man is the person that's like, hey, man, if we make this dude song a power rotation 80 BPM, that means we got to find a bunch of other 80 BPM songs at a time where the West Coast was reestablishing itself.
Yeah.
And they decided to not move it there for marketing purposes. They didn't want to have to market those other records.
Well, I remember seeing your connections when we went across the country that summer and stuff with all the radio stations and everybody you knew. I was like, damn, you was at every major radio stations.
Yeah.
Talking to people and stuff when they blackballed you.
Yeah. Well, I don't really think they blackballed me.
What you call it then?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you call it then?
Shout out to natural beauty therapist, my niece, Dejanay. She said the attorneys look different today. She said, is that Drake next to Barb?
She funny.
And your niece, her earrings and her phone case and everything had me blown away. I want the earrings, I want the pen, I want the case.
My niece is like one of the most creative people in our family, man.
I was starstruck by them earrings all day.
She got a stylist. She's always had that style. As a little kid, we used to call her Wednesday. She used to always want to hurt somebody. And she just was flat. Like you couldn't get her to have no emotions. She was just dry. We just knew she was gonna kill somebody before she was 21. Cause she was just like raw, you know what I mean? That's Dejanay. She don't really.
You guys still feel
the jeweler.
Yeah, she's a jeweler now too, so that's tight.
The jeweler. What up, y'all?
We used to call her Wednesday.
Big jeweler, not the little one.
Yeah,
Big
she
jeweler.
said, "That's my girl. Thank you."
Big jeweler. I think it was 790. What is it? I gotta look at it.
On her brand is. Damn, that's fucked up. Like, talk
I
shit.
think it's 70. 70.
It's one of them. Hold up. We're going to plug it right now. What is it?
Send the text. Send the chat. What up, y'all?
Trap, what up, dog?
Good, Trap.
What up?
So okay, so the reason 70-90, there we go.
3-1.
So look, if
3-1.
y'all want to get
3-1,
something for your
3-1.
lady, if you want to get
3-1.
something for your homegirl, if y'all want to get anything, you feel me? If y'all want to get some jewelry, go to 70-90. Help my niece. I'm gonna make her run an ad so I can start putting her ad in the middle of the show.
I'm gonna give her right now. If y'all want to get them brownie points from your girl, I'm telling you right now, go on and get her some from there. Cause somebody give me some from there. They gonna get the brownie points.
There you go. There it is. So, what made me talk about this, Coach, is I was looking at this academics interview. He was interviewing some dude, right? And they was talking about Kendrick. And I guess the guy was from Toronto. And they were saying some shit that I didn't like, right? They was like, they talking tough, blah, 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 whatever. No big deal. That's all that talk. But he was saying how he came home and Drake had him up 7 to 10 million.
Who?
And then I watched them run another ad talking about the little pirate boy. What's his name?
Top 5.
Top 5. He looked like a little pirate. like he gonna fucking take over a ship. You feel me? That's how Cut look. And he was saying how he had millions of dollars. And I just like I've been thinking about this whole time, like right, different people talking about all this fake money, like, and I don't want to talk shit about nobody, but it's gonna happen anyway, and I just don't give a fuck enough to not. Everybody's just lying about the money, and so it becomes this cheap form of marketing. Like it's easy to sell to the general public. Like it's so easy to sell it to the general public. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this person got a deal worth 100 million. That deal worth 10 million. And they just all lie, and they so comfortable with lying. And it's funny to me that they use it because they know the general public has a fascination with wealth or having too much. But that's what struck me out of that. Minus all of the extra threats, like, oh, you Toronto, yeah, y'all play with him if you want to. You know what I mean? It's gonna be niggas gonna crash for boy. I mean, they're gonna go everywhere. It's gonna be a terror. It's gonna be a scene. They're gonna perform for Overdot. So, you know what I mean? But it just hit me that day that became a thing. Oh, I'm up 7 to 10 million. You know, I just can't, like, why are you lying? Like, what is like
700,000?
No, Drake ain't gave him no fucking
$700,
dog.
$700.
$700.
No. He said bet $7. Let's do it. Yeah.
But it just bothers me. And it's like when you start, so now you like coming through trying to clean it up and really, you know what I mean, get it together. Like you trying to fix the marketing. You trying to show people like, man, there ain't no money in marketing money. You know what I mean? Ain't no money in marketing money. You know, I get it. Our whole life we was taught. You feel me? Our whole life we was taught, you need money to make money. And that just ain't true.
It just reminds me of like back then when like it was that phase of like all these YouTubers with all these like fabulous houses and all these things, and they were just renting Airbnbs on the weekend. Yeah. It's like people will buy into things. We don't even question things anymore. We just buy into it.
And that's my point that I started at the beginning of the stream with. I'm like when I looked at the R. Kelly case, I didn't just look at he got arrested. I'm like, okay, what's his charges? And then that shit it was like racketeering. Ooh, what's Robert Kelly is racketeering? What the fuck has he got?
Like you said, he can't even text.
This motherfucker can't read or write.
Spell right.
What up?
Straight up.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, they charge him with the Mann Act. I can't help it. My brain, coach, automatically goes to read shit like that. Like I won't just look like, oh, you know what? They made this TV show. Oh, here's a TV show. He get arrested. Oh, this is what he got arrested for, this TV show. Those two things don't just naturally compute to me. It's like, let me read what's his charges. When I read his charges, I'm like, I remember seeing the Mann Act, and I was like, where did I see this before, the Mann Act? And it was like the same thing that it was a law the federal government made to stop Jack Johnson from sleeping with white women, crossing state lines with white women.
Let me ask you a question, G. Do you think that this is a microcosm of what's happening in Black America in general, or do you think they're targeting prominent Black men?
You almost know that's going to be biased for me. I just believe white people are racist. But let's be honest, okay? Let's take away the cheap feel of racism. Let's just go straight to the point. If you're a district attorney moving up and you want to move up and you could take down a prominent figure, it's appreciated in United States law to be able to manipulate law, not necessarily manipulate the way we use it, but like to use it and to understand it and to weaponize it, right, against the thought of what crime could be, right, versus like to focus on the letter as much as the spirit. So like the person who took down R. Kelly, remember R. Kelly is a famous person. And at that time, because of this television show, the general public had a disdain for him. So whoever could formulate an idea that can get him arrested, their career would take a hike. Like they would be big. This is kind of the benefit.
It's almost
what I
like
mean?
killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's if we pulling out race. I mean, we just talking about, oh, America mad at him. Look at this TV show. Oh, y'all don't like him? Oh, he popular? Okay, if I take him down, it raises my career. So I think it's a motivation for people to go out and you know, make sense out of laws, even if it don't fit the spirit. You know what I mean? It just, the letter can be manipulated to, like trafficking. Trafficking was a charge made to stop underage girls from being kidnapped and sold into prostitution. Now the letter of it, you know what I mean, says if a girl crosses straight lines with, you know, with the intentions to have sex and gain money, you feel me, it's trafficking.
Crazy.
The spirit, again, is to stop underage girls from being sold, kidnapped, and sold into prostitution. You know what I'm saying?
So they're just hitting them with these broad charges, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
And that's how the federal government is. You know what I mean? The federal government is very much like, they don't got to prove a crime. Like the same thing that's happened with Big U. Again, if they could prove a murder, they wouldn't need a RICO. A RICO carry less time. RICO is 20 years.
That's what I kept thinking.
Yeah, murder is life. Trust me, if they could nail him on murder, he'd be good as done. So shout out to No Cuz who spent some game cooking at the table. Man Act wasn't made for Jack Johnson specifically, but the opportunist racists were quick to use it against him. It was pushed by the pre-suffragettes nationwide trying to close red light districts. So
I like this shit.
Only reason I say a microcosm is because I think we all know people who've been arrested for something, and then you go check them charges, and you be like, what is, you know, me, I've been arrested for something, and then they changed my charges, and it garnered more years after they finished changing it what they wanted to change it to.
yeah.
So it's been happening forever.
So I don't quite know, you know. Again, it's all marketing. Everybody's trying to market themselves. There's attorneys, there's district attorneys, prosecutors marketing themselves. Hey, I'm the guy that took the Puff Daddy.
So you feel as if the these cases are taken on to propel the DA or even the defense attorneys to move their career further like that?
Hell yeah, it's to market their ability, to market their brand, to bring exposure to their brands and to market their abilities.
You know, Thug Lawyer done got onto Puff case.
Yeah, I bet you he did. If I'm Puff and I saw that,
because that's working for him. Hey, I'm the guy that got Young Thug off. Now he's that's just like OJ Simpson. That's just like the guy that got OJ Simpson. Johnny
Cochran.
Everybody was like, every time you got in a fight with somebody, you'd be like, man, I'm gonna get Johnny Cochran. You know,
that's part of hip hop.
I know Puff with Johnny was here right now.
Yeah, but guess what? It works on the prosecutor side the same way. Remember, those prosecutors are making a name, getting cracking, because eventually they're going to become defense. They're going to be attorneys, and they need to have a record of showing how much we kick ass. So the more high profile the case is, you feel me? People make a name. It's all marketing. But I'm just worried about how we market, like in hip hop. You know, it's kind of gotten real cheap. It's real cheap. Everything is just money. Like I saw the Shannon Sharp shit. Oh, this lady suing because he got $100 million. That nigga ain't got no $100 million deal. Forgive me.
Yeah, you gotta stop that, dude. My son Shannon signed for $100 million, B. We ain't about to do that. We ain't about to do him like that, B. He signed for $100 million.
$50 million for being choked.
She wanted half that shit.
I don't even think he got $50 million to get her.
He didn't get none of that.
The price
he signed for $100 million.
No, he didn't.
Bro, they cannot say that he got a new contract for $100 million.
Hold up. Hey, what is Trap saying? Trap, what you saying?
I said, can they put on the news, Joe? He just signed a $100 million contract and he actually didn't?
Yes.
That's the market. They can say whatever they want.
So sports do that too, then, right? Sports do the same thing too?
They can, but they don't always.
It's
It's like if you hear LeBron got $1 billion deal with Nike, if you go look at the payout, it's different. It's
it
way
might
Yeah,
have
different.
cost
LeBron's
the
different, though.
package could cost $100 million, but he may not directly have gotten it. And it could be spread out over time too.
And
That's
it's
what it
just not
is.
100.
They
And it's
didn't
just
hand him over
and
$100
it's just
million
not
here.
and it's just not $100 million. It's just no way to make that. It's no way to generate that kind of revenue. So it's just not gonna happen.
But like Barb
No, it's
said, if they
not.
spread it out over a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
A
It's
person
not.
have
It's not. The money is not there to generate. You need a lifetime.
If they give him 10 million, they give him 10 million a year for 10 years.
Why would they give him $10
$100
million
million
a year?
contract.
You think he's making $10 million a year? You think he generate? How much money do you think he generating a year?
Right here it says his
Right.
net worth.
You
His
fucking
net
with me,
worth
you
is
might go through
approximately
the roof.
How much?
We talk about
What
off
did
the
it say?
Shay Shay show, right?
Yeah.
his
The
net
Shay
worth
Shay
is
podcast host.
approximately $14 million.
I mean,
Yeah.
just minus that. Would you
But
think he would be generating annually from them shows?
He got a whole podcast network right now where he got multiple
Yeah, he got 4
podcasts
shows.
on it.
So give me
4
how much
shows?
you think he would be generating
A year?
annually.
You got to think about it. Stephen A. Smith just got $100 million contract. Shannon Sharp's not on that level.
And he ain't getting $100
Bro,
million.
podcast is different nowadays, B.
I think people
Podcast
just
is different nowadays.
Sponsorship for sure.
and make everybody pay attention to what I think it's just part of the marketing scheme of people saying things.
It's just
There's
lazy.
so many NDAs that a lot of people can't even tell all that stuff.
It's just lazy. It's just lazy. Shout out to Don Dub. Lazy marketing. It's just lazy. It's not true. If you just, like I was telling you, Trap, if you just count the money, it doesn't make sense. And then we start to kind of rationalize it. Shout out to Don Dub, who makes another point. They always tell you the total value of a deal includes money and incentives. And it's not even that. Net worth ain't that. None of those numbers are
Yeah,
that.
net worth is assets. and everything like that.
Way more
Well,
complex.
it's just like if they sell the deal and they include how much the lights, the whole.
That's
maybe
not
it is
even.
that.
That's not even that. It's
They just-
actually sometimes a flat out fucking lie.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, shout out to Uncle. Like, I'm not trying to shoot Uncle down. I'm a big fan of his brand. I love his show. I'm just tired of niggas. The reason there's no true innovation happening is because everybody thinks somebody else is achieving what they want to achieve.
but did he come out? Did Shannon come out and say he got that deal?
No.
Or? Okay, so maybe he didn't.
It's not him. So,
Okay.
but again, it's one of those same things like we talk about with hip hop, where some like people not gonna argue me. The people that I'm talking about ain't gonna argue me. It's gonna be other people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be the people because they know probably some of the stuff I'm saying makes sense.
But that's how you market though. You want to market to where the other people having conversation about what you got going on.
Yeah, that's publicity.
Yeah.
That's how publicity.
Well, he
works.
marketed and got $50 million lawsuit.
Choking.
That's what he
He was
did.
choking.
But
Won't do that.
Barbie
one
brought up
again.
something interesting though too. Like, can you? I don't know if it's reverse marketing or revamping the marketing, or like when you get these type of situations where Shannon got that, or where the thug went to jail, got out. Can you market that after you get out of these situations? Can you remarket yourself and use that as make that a beneficial tool to you?
So who exactly?
To him, like, so thug gets go to jail, get out, didn't snitch, all this kind of stuff. Can he use that can he market that now?
Yeah, because at that point, if marketing is in my mind simple storytelling, right? It's simple storytelling. If marketing is simple storytelling, right? And yes, that story is public at that point, right? Thug gets out of jail. If he dropped the first day out, it would automatically get a bunch of listeners. Like when Gunna came home and he had that product, they finished that product quick. When he came home, everybody wanted to know what was on his mind. What did he want to say about his case? And he happened to have a hit record. I remember talking to people and people not feeling like him telling and that video of him telling was not going to be nothing. And I'm like, it is going to be something. Like the initial thing is people wanted to hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to hear from him. And he happened to have a hit record on that shit. It was a hit record on that project. And at that time, people needed a hit record, so they played it. But if you look at his music since then, he's put out a lot of it. None of it has performed because his brand took a hit. The validity of the things he's saying don't fit.
I want to hear it.
G, let me ask you one more question. About you keep on calling it lazy marketing, right?
Sure.
Is it lazy when it works? Like, can we really call it lazy? Because when you look at marketing today, what is not marketable?
That's a good question. Shout out to my niece, the natural beauty therapist. Marketing is psychology. Branding is telling the marketing story. So Is it cheap, lazy marketing? Yes. The only reason why it's cheap and lazy because it can't be flushed out. Like, right? It's very limited, right? So you watch people try, right? They start to. It's not really a lot of lefts and rights to go with it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of straight up.
So would you consider what Kanye doing as lazy mark? I'm sorry, Trap. Would you consider what Kanye as lazy mark?
That shit.
No. Kanye is like
That's genius marketing.
I think he's a marketing savant. I don't think he's a genius marketer. I think he's a marketer.
That's genius. It's genius.
Not necessarily genius as much as he understands it, but he don't understand at the cost of brand, which is weird because, like, you know, he's so dynamic at building product, so he's never really had to over sensationalize brand part of it, right? He's like he always delivered with the product. This is like right now, they're indifferent to the product. So now you're looking at the branding of Kanye without this really polarizing product, right? Which is kind of what he's been known for, right? This, if it's an album, right, it's going to have some things that you need to hear if you want to stay, you know, in the hip space of dope, you know, products in the space. Like he was a leader.
I think he's the product, man. I think he's the product. So long as he's pushing himself and like saying the things about it, I'm saying, and making himself the major thing like that, whatever he put his hands on becomes the, you know what I'm saying, like that. So whether it's, as long as he is the main object of the whole shit like that, he could put up a pair of socks or put a shirt on and everybody want to get the shirt.
Yeah, but even then, I think that, you know, that's probably overstated. You know what I mean? Like, so it's weird, right? Because like I said, he's been this person the whole time, but he just had the product.
I think for him, he puts a little bit more thought. I think like when I think of like lazy marketing, it's like when I think about a lot of rappers that kind of just want, like you say, show the fake money, or even like when it comes to women, like you can be naked in the photo or just bend over, or you can put some creativity to it or whatnot. I think it's just like certain people take the time to make a marketing scheme and put something into it and really put something in it, than versus let's do a performance video and just throw the song out there. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of people are just kind of caught up with the clickbait, that they're rather like the rapper the other day who crashed out his car, was his name Diddy or Dotto or something like that. They was talking about how he was like trying to go viral. So they talking about he crashed his car on purpose. And I'm like, that's to me is insane. Like you can have all type of marketing schemes, not trying to take your life or crash out, or you know what I mean. So people want to be in the spotlight so bad now that I realize that people will do anything, whether it's lazy or drastic, just for that one moment of you know, clout, or one moment of viralness.
We just want simple likes on this show. You know what I'm saying? That's all. We want simple likes. We try to get to 100.
Shout out. We definitely need 100 likes for sure.
Yeah,
please get us to 100 likes if you're on YouTube. Do that for me. Shout out to Lucky Lawrence. Kanye is less of a genius and more ingenious. The genius is how people take his inventiveness and scale it to the next level. A true genius will form and execute all their ideas. That's deep. I had to think about that.
Yeah, that is. I was start thinking about it as soon as you said it. I was like, that's interesting.
I'll take my time before I answer that. Look, that's dope.
How would you figure that?
I don't think he's a genius or any of that when it comes to marketing. I think he's a savant. It's like he loses track of the rest of reality once he commits to marketing. You know what I mean? Like he loses focus on the rest of reality. Like right now, like when he put that stuff up there talking about the stuff with his kids, right? And he was talking about how the kid came and found the video, right? His son, I think his name is Saint, came and found a video of his mom and Ray J. And he was saying none of these rappers is gonna say, none of these punk ass rappers gonna say nothing about that. That's why I'm fuck with y'all, right? And that's the savantness, right? Because it is a very much a story that is very polarizing to tell. But I think the savant part of it comes in the ignorance that it's just your fault. You knew this tape existed before you decided to get this lady pregnant. That's the savantness. Everything that he does is very like it's forward, like it's like he tells you the story. But then it's weird, and this is kind of the thing that worries me, is he doesn't understand his accountability in the stories. That's why I think it's more of a savant than actually just genius. I don't think he thinks it all the way through.
Or has boundaries. I think like even with marketing, you gotta have like core boundaries as a person of which you're not gonna cross. Like even you as an artist, we all know we could bring you ideas, but we know certain things you wouldn't do because we know you have certain boundaries. I think some people just don't have none and they're just willing to do anything.
That's true.
Does he have boundaries? No, but I think
sucking dick and stuff.
Kanye.
Yeah, but I'd say he don't have no boundaries.
Yeah.
I mean,
He don't have no boundaries.
look, if he sucked a penis as a kid, you know what I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a boundary thing to avoid if that's his true testimony, you know, his true testimony. Like if that was his experience,
But
I don't think that's a boundary.
When I'm saying boundary in the sense of like certain things that I'm not gonna go into, or certain things I'm not gonna say, or certain things I'm not gonna cross, like as a person, just having like that standard of like I'm willing to do whatever I can do to push my brand, but I'm not gonna do this. I think he just don't. I don't think he has that.
And when do boundaries for others come into play also? Because like if I'm your cousin, I don't
for sure.
I might not.
But
want
that's why I say I think he's a savant at that time.
I'm in jail.
I think it's
and now I know he don't just got one cousin. I know he got a bunch of cousins.
Coach, you can turn your head now.
Lord knows for him to be in jail, your cousin in jail, and you telling stories about how you're sucking his penis.
Yeah,
His cousin probably been saying, "Yo, Kanye's my cousin the whole time in jail." Now everybody looking at the nigga like,
level 4.
Yeah. He been bragging all these years now.
I've been bragging the whole time. Yo, Kanye's my cousin. That's my cousin, yo. That's my cousin right there, yo. That's my cousin. Now all of a sudden the news came out. Listen, that's your cousin, right, bro? That's your cousin.
Now all his cousins is like,
nah, yeah, he ain't my blood cousin.
That's a different cousin.
Nah, he ain't talking about me. He's talking about other cousins.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
son.
That's my cousin too. That ain't me.
Yes, dude, exactly. Like that's another thing. Kanye was so specific about it too.
like Jarrell Jr.
Yeah,
That my
Word.
cousin Jarrell.
Wow,
Hey,
that's crazy.
are you guys familiar with like NLP, like neuro linguistic programming? A lot of the big corporations use that as a marketing tool, right? As what's an example? Say you're watching TV, whatever, and a Carl's Jr. commercial comes on, and you know how they make the food look perfect, and then the consumer or the viewer is automatically like, oh damn, I'm in the mood for whatever the Carl's Jr. burger they showing, a famous star, whatever the case may be. That's like those subtle marketing tactics that all these big corporations use, and it's called NLP. I learned it. I was working at Bank of America at one point, and I was a manager, and I learned that tactic to kind of influence my associates to be motivated to do their job better. So that was something I looked into. But a lot of those big corporations use subtle tactics like NLP to market their product. So how much do you think any of these musicians or these big labels or anything, they use any type of NLP for the artists to get us to go and purchase music and things like that?
Yeah.
I look into that. That sounds fire.
Word.
Savant, the definition of savant, a person who has exceptional aptitude in one particular field, despite having significant impairment in other areas of intellect or social functioning. That's what I think Kanye is.
Sound like autism.
Yeah, so do Coach.
Right.
It definitely
That's
sounds
what
like
I think.
autism.
I think Ye is a marketing savant.
I think
he understands it for the purpose, but then there are some simple fundamental things that he almost like. So my thing is one thing to tell a story that maybe you made some sexual mistakes as a kid. You know what I mean?
Sexual mistakes.
Yeah, like because I don't know if you quite, if you see Playboys and you emulating the Playboys at 8 years old, you know what I mean? It's like
How you gonna emulate a Playboy? A Playboy was just girls laying there.
I mean, I guess I don't quite know. That's what he said. That's a good point though. He said he did, right? And he said they emulated
His mom's
saw
pictures was worse.
on the mom's pictures.
It was
Somebody,
worse.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess
his dad had Playboys and then his mom had something different.
Yeah, it had something
so
worse.
maybe he saw penis and mouth, and he started emulating with his younger cousin. Right?
Oh my God.
Okay, G. I mean, I'm not to cut you off, but just a quick question because you saying that made me think about something. He did see Playboys first in his song, and then and then he saw
You heard
what
the
his
song?
mom had, and he went to that instead of the Playboys. He was like, "Oh no, put this down."
Well, nothing's happening in the Playboys. The Playboys just
Yeah,
naked
just
girls.
naked
But
women.
you know, it's like, why wasn't that enough? Why wasn't he like, okay, we got man sucking penis over here, and we got naked women over here. Why didn't you stay with the naked women?
I'm saying I don't think it was his choice of man or women as much as he must have saw a picture of somebody sucking penis.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I mean, I think that's what
He also saw
saying.
some bare titties. And why
I'm sure he liked that too.
Why
but
he
it was
graduated
was
from Playboy to the other
yeah, like why did
magazine?
he say, oh,
well,
you
it
know
wasn't
what?
no
This ain't
bare
enough
titties.
action for me?
I don't know if it's because nothing happens in Playboy, so he couldn't have been emulating Playboy. Like it's not like no, you know.
But
I mean,
why
let Playboy change?
why
I don't know
did
what
he want
Playboy
to?
edition he saw that he saw some head going on because Playboy they had a lot of things going
Who
on, but
said
it
that there
it was not.
Yeah, I've saw probably about 3 or 4 Playboys in my life. I never saw like sex. In
No,
a
there
Playboy
was
I
no
saw
sex
all
in it.
of them.
No, none.
Damn.
But
I saw
why
all
did he
of
want to emulate
All
that?
of
'Cause the question
I
is,
had
why
all
did
of
you
them.
want to emulate
I had all the
somebody
Playboy.
naked like that at that age?
I don't know, but I don't even want to try to get into that because I'm not a therapist or psychologist. But what I'm saying is, this is what he's saying
gay.
happened. Right? So he's saying this is what happened, and I'm saying the savantness is. It's one thing to tell the story, right? Okay, this is what happened. I did this with this guy when I was younger, blah blah. But it's another thing to specifically name the person so we can know who it is, and that person is in that predicament.
It's madness.
That's the savant part.
No, he's autism, like
yeah,
that, coach.
I think he might be autistic.
But shout out to my
Yeah.
niece. She makes a good point. And I didn't
Autistic.
think about this. And this is important. And he has been disconnected. My niece, the natural beauty therapist, Dejanay, says Kanye is trying to figure out how to relate to the masses again. I think that's what people are missing.
I agree.
Exactly.
I
He is.
agree
I
with
was
that.
he's
100%.
disconnected. He's trying to
Yes.
find a way to be.
With these stories, though,
But people
it's
don't understand is
connected.
that too, what we also have to realize is that Kanye really is also trying to put himself back in the victimation, like back in the victim state, because you know we've kind of painted him as this person saying all these things, and so I feel like right now it's like he's trying to make sure that we know that it's easier to play the victim of something and get people to look at you differently than look at you like as this big mean person and you know this big monster of like person. I think that also too he's kind of like trying to let people know in a soft way, maybe crying for help too, but I think like for him it's more about marketing than really it is about deep down having an issue for me.
Barbie, if you think he's trying to play a victim, why put on a clown outfit then? Like,
because
we look at clown as victims, or
well, I think that like you want to play the victim in a sense, but then at the same time he put it on the clown thing because like people do have insecurities and like you want to, people still have egos, you know what I mean? And then for him, he's still trying to figure out how to make it a scheme of things and he's trying to be entertaining at the same time.
The nigga's bipolar. Let's just call it like it is.
and glasses. To your niece's, to her comment. At what point? Because I think she's right. I think Kanye is trying to figure out how to be relevant.
I don't know if he's quite trying to relate. I
think he's trying to relate. I think he's trying to get back in. I think he's trying to figure out what door to go.
What the hell about
what about
him?
the clown outfit was? Who was he trying to relate to? White people?
I think he's trying to figure. I think he's throwing. But that's why I think Kanye used to be a genius with musically, and I think he might have been a savant when it came to marketing. I think Kanye is.
Or you just throwing whatever you can to the wall to see what sticks. Yeah. That's what he's doing.
I think he's doing that. I think he's really just trying to see
keep throwing until I can figure out what can stick.
No, so, yo, how y'all don't understand what it is?
Hold on. Hold up, Jeff. So what we're saying is one of the most brilliant, probably marketing people in the world is just went from totally in line to completely out of line.
Yeah.
Well, when what you're doing doesn't work, at times you got to think about it. He had this whole thing in certain things. He can tell that it's starting to take the turn. Just because you can be popular as hell, but you could tell when the masses are starting to turn. So I feel like with him, he's trying to he's trying to figure out how to like your niece say, trying to figure out how to scale it back. Like I'm trying to get back on the color team.
Let me say this too.
Here's a real story. Minus the sexual weird part, he reminds me of my little brother.
Why are you doing this?
I'm just telling you the truth. Like my little brother acts out for attention.
That's all he's doing.
Like he just acts out for attention.
I know where you was going.
He'll just say a bunch of shit, and I'll be like me and my niece was on live, and he'll just say some shit, and I'm like, for what? He's like, man, you got, and it's like, what are you doing? You feel me?
But maybe Kanye back in the day, he can do stuff for shock value and get some kind of.
Well, he would have a product. He'd have a product that's just as.
But even with his product, he used to do stuff for shock value, put some holes in it, or do whatever, do some weird shit with his products.
Oh,
I agree.
I think
And
over
then-
time he's lost his way.
But now, how do you shock the masses now, though? I think that's where he's lost. Like, he can't do shit to shock the masses now. We're so numb of being shocked with all these crazy shit going on.
He fucked me up.
It's like a
every
person.
single
It's
time.
like a child.
After that clown outfit, I thought it was over.
You gotta
And
understand,
then
man.
he just came out and talked about he was sucking penis. I was like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
he's to another level.
It reminds me of a child that's always been used to like getting attention
That's
by
what it
saying
is.
something crazy, and then now we've kind of got like so used to it
Oh,
that
yeah.
now this child is like, I'm gonna put on a clown suit and say I suck dick, like whatever I
I'm
can
with her.
do to just get your attention. And I
Please,
feel
look.
like I feel like I worked in juvenile hall for a long time. Shout out to Clark County Juvenile Hall. I learned in juvenile hall that when people are in a room and you really don't have, you're not really self-aware, you will do whatever you can do, tell as many stories as you can, be as loud as you can to get the attention of the room. And over time, if you're not really mentally strategic, over time, now you're just doing any fucking thing for shock value, because now you've kind of lost your way. You have no product. You're not really where you used to be. And so now I feel like you're just throwing whatever the hell is up there until this shit sticks.
So now if Kanye, if
What is
Kanye wasn't to be saying none of this or doing none of this, will we be sitting here mentioning him? All he did was try. He's just doing the most because he understands by doing the most, he's cracking into the algorithm. He's becoming the front page, you know what I'm saying, news and shit like that. So what he's doing is going further and further and further, because every time he does something, it's getting plastered on the front page.
But
You know what I'm saying?
saying
So
is-
he don't even care.
Music,
He's doing toxic marketing, B. He don't give a fuck what it is though. He don't care.
I remember your reaction when you heard about the gay thing. You was like, oh, I forgot what you said, but you said, "Oh fuck" or something. You was like,
No,
gosh.
what I thought it was at first though.
Ready for
I thought it was
Kanye's
public. I thought it was public humiliation. He was going
Coming
through
in.
to
You ready to
other
see.
people.
gay sex tape in the clan outfit.
I'm
Like,
telling you right now.
because
I can see it right now.
hey, be ready for it. Be
Part
ready
two.
for it. Brace yourself because
I'm telling you right now.
hey,
I'm telling you right
he's not getting the type of attention he wants right now, because I just think that to market into today's youth,
It's gonna be
it's just too
Kanye and
hard,
Ray
man.
J tape.
Like,
He don't care what type. He's getting the exact attention he wants, and now he's streaming
know,
now.
The gay sex tape in the clan outfit.
I don't think the youth. I don't think that.
What do I
I don't think the youth is ready. I don't think the youth is embracing any of the stuff he's doing right now. I mean, me as a basketball coach, an AAU coach, a high school coach, I'm out there coaching these kids all the time, and they ain't said one. I be trying to talk to them about Kanye stuff. They lost. They don't even understand. They like, what do you do? I'm like,
I think he's trying to figure out a way to get back into the market of things, because
But what would he be getting back into the market of things to do? Like what is he selling?
well, we also have to realize, like, Kim
what is-
Kardashian taught him some things. He's learned that he doesn't have to drop records and really be a great artist anymore to be in the limelight. He is now Kim Kardashian's protege. He now knows to just do things in the market, wear this outfit, do this with his kids, talk about this. He's not doing college dropout shit no more. We don't have the Kanye West of
think
college dropout.
I think this is the same one. I told y'all a long time ago. I was like, man, this is him.
Yeah.
This
But
is him.
when I knew that he was that this the same Kanye, because it's like he put the bear suit on then, he put the clown suit on now. Baby been in costumes.
Oh, she's calling it the clown suit. I thought
Yeah,
she
she
kept
just
on
called it
saying
the
it the
clown.
wrong way though. I thought she kept on saying she's calling it the clown suit, the clown suit. All right, I get it now. That was slick. That was slick right there. I like that.
Yeah, when he came
like
out,
that.
he was wearing clown suits. He had that big
Yeah.
bear, and he's talking about college dropout.
You're
I
right.
think Kanye always, but I again, like even with Ye, like I've always smelled his marketing a mile away. You know what I mean? Forgive me for lack of better terms. That's why I really like. I get college dropout, I get late registration, I get graduation, I get them. Like, but they're just like so obviously marketed that it's like I'm cool. Like I jam it. Don't get me wrong, I got jams.
Do you think George Bush hate black people was marketing?
No, I think he just yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah, it's a part of him that wanted to be looked at as the hero for saying something. I don't think he was really versed in what was happening enough to make that statement, which is why he apologized.
So that was another moment of him just doing some shit for attention.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's moments
Yes.
when he like
Possibly,
from
not
a
now.
marketing standpoint, he basks in his blackness, right? And it'll be for those moments where trauma's attached. It won't really be for nothing else. Look, I could have a million opinions
He's
on
like
Ye.
the Tyler Perry of rap.
Tyler Perry is way better.
I'm just saying, as
Yeah,
far as like
I'm
the
not
drama,
bad,
I'm talking about like seeking the drama. I feel like Kanye West is just seeking the drama.
Tyler
You
Perry
take
did put a
choice,
dress
bro.
on. He did put a dress on. He is Medea now. I don't know. You might have something right
No, that's
there. He's
accurate.
Medea.
Shout out to DJ my niece. She said he thinks he's the leader of cool, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And the truth is, Kanye has never been cool.
Nah.
And that's kind of the problem, I think. But this goes to the same thing I've been telling Trap forever. I'm like, the problem is people trying to get in hip hop to be cool. I don't think they really care about hip hop. I think they're really not cool people in real life, and then they use this to try to be cool. But Kanye has never been cool.
I
But
agree
he
with you.
still wants to be a voice for Black people, though. I feel like
I don't even
I
think
don't know.
I think that sometimes I used to think that he feels like he wants to speak for a bracket of Black people that feels like him. I feel like he feels like I represent Black people that feel like me.
I think that was marketing, right?
Yeah.
Where Coach and Trap relate to the fact that he a brother, because again, hip hop kind of didn't necessarily come across like it had anything to do with college on a mainstream level. Like as far as hip hop on the mainstream, like at its full core. So it became somebody that kind of prided their product in college, the college experience as a brother. Right outside of that, you had some other people that you heard went to college. You had school days, but you didn't really have that in rap. You know what I mean? So I think Kanye understood, huh?
DMC went to college.
No, I think people went to college that was a hip hop. I'm saying they prided their product on that. That was their cultural experience.
But but I think we're living on that Kanye marketer. Like at the marketing back then, Kanye was a genius. I think he was a marketing genius at that point in time. I still think he's still living on that type of that shit.
I think he's a savant then, though.
Yeah, and I think so too. But I think now he is lost.
But if
he's ruining his legacy. Like even Trap. I mean, what Six brought up was so about the whole Kanye Bush doesn't like Black people. Now that's in question because at the time Black people loved it. But when Six said that, I said, "Damn, was he just?"
But I think the college dropout was marketing. I told y'all from the beginning.
But at least it made sense. We could see it. Now it's like how you said before. He's trying to figure out how to do that again. You know how like
he's doing now, he's ruining his legacy.
I don't know
how to make it catch again.
I don't think he's trying to do anything again from a marketing standpoint. I think this is who y'all been championing this whole time.
Why is y'all? You are the Kanye West guy.
Well, I'm a Kanye West guy when he's being honest and transparent. Like, and
when has he?
When he's talking about killing himself.
I don't care. He lost me when he came out with the homeless clothing.
I don't even know. He could have just been asking for some attention. I'm gonna kill everything.
No, I knew that he wanted attention when he came out with the clothing, the homeless clothing line, the Skid Row clothing line was just like that to me. Just showed me like he had
was
the
wearing
Skid
it though.
Row clothing line. That shit looked like it just came straight from Skid Row.
But again, also this is why I be so harsh with hip hop as well and keeping it the door it is. Right? It's like certain people do stuff and they're not really cool.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be cool. They use hip hop to try to be cool. And one thing with Ye is I'm a huge fan or a fanatic of Ye and his creations. I've never thought he was cool a day in my life.
Do you think Kanye could go help somebody else market themselves?
He marketed his old lady. He marketed Kim. He's a savant.
Wait a minute.
But sometimes I think that he's just willing to do anything.
I mean, who you think he marketed? Who's his old lady?
The white lady.
I'm saying the woman that came out there half naked who looked like she.
Talking about Bianca.
Who's gonna end up suing him soon? Like
the only reason I know she is because Kanye marketed.
Well, I'm saying
he marketed Amber Rose.
Yeah, he marketed Amber Rose. That's why we listen to her boyhead ass right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He know what to do. He's been doing what he do, man.
Yo, listen, yo, coach, man.
Look at Yeezy, dog. This is what he does.
So you think 2025, Kanye can go help market somebody right now?
He could market.
Would you let Kanye market you?
No.
Exactly.
Yes, you would.
But
only
said you
would. Don't sit here and lie. Kanye pull up on you right now and say, yo, G, I got a whole plan for you, G.
If he said something right,
I wouldn't let him market me because I'm actually cool for real. So I don't think he would know kind of culturally what to do with this. Like, I don't think he can market actually this. I think he can market product, but I don't think he can market. He wouldn't even know how to be existence in the space where we at. Like, imagine I took him on a 7, or I took him on Crenshaw on Sunday. He couldn't come out of that space. Okay, he wouldn't come out that space. And I think this is the problem with certain people like
beat up.
Drake. Like he
for sure would.
He'll end up getting beat up for saying something
He
stupid.
wouldn't even get beat up. He wouldn't get beat up. He just wouldn't talk. He wouldn't say nothing because he'd be so like polarized and kind of like really, for lack of a better term, scared. It's different.
I think Kanye would just. I think he would be the opposite. I think he would overly sell himself.
Kanye on Chris Show with all these niggas out here. Like
He
niggas
from
out here.
Chicago. He be good. We not talking about. He from Chicago.
I feel like he would be the
He'd
opposite. I
good.
feel like he remind me of those people that go to the hood that next day talking about cuz like
He went Harrows.
Like he'd be
Go to Harrows.
He might walk in.
Overly
He might walk in the middle of y'all niggas and raise his hands out like this, like yes, come to Ye's feet.
It's just not gonna.
He
work.
might try to get y'all to sing like a choir or something. Get y'all together.
It's gonna work, but that's how out of the loop he is.
He wouldn't do that. Listen, you can tell when he runs to Japan because he thought the pirate was gonna do something to him, so he ran to Japan. Imagine if it was like niggas was on it. Like everybody know he out here. Imagine if we woke up one day it was like, oh, you out here, we finna get you. That nigga will move to Mars.
He be on Crenshaw with the Dora boots on, them little Dora the Explorer boots he be wearing.
No. So honestly, I wouldn't let him. Honestly, while I do, you know, Trap, what I think of Ye as a marketer. I think he wanted the greatest to ever do it out to space, but he couldn't market me. It wouldn't work. He don't know what the fuck. He couldn't market Push.
He could just market girls.
Well, he can market other things that's kind of off. Like he could.
That's a good point. He can market his.
He market shoes.
How you feel like he marketed?
He can market things that don't have a boundary.
So
he can market things that don't have a boundary. Like with women, it would be different because with you, there will be a standoff between like, oh no, you have standards.
I don't think he can market a sister.
Oh no, not a sister.
Like a real sister. He have a problem. They been in went upside. He been in a fight. He think he fought somebody. Now he be in a real fight. But
so you saying Amber Rose ain't strong black woman?
Different.
She not.
I mean, like no sister would do the slut walk. Ain't no sister like sister privately, but
well, we might boss
think
walk.
About it. Anything of street urban culture, Elk, he dropped the ball. Every last time. He can only market other things that kind of came across corny.
Popish.
Like John, forgive me, John. Like I'm not talking shit. John Legend, one of the best talents I know, amazing. But I'm saying he's a bit like off center from street urban culture. Like
John Legend overrated. Hey,
wow.
This guy right
I'm sorry, John Legend is overrated.
Let me scoot over because I'm like still trying to get the John Legend interview.
Anyway, John Legend's overrated.
Hey,
oh my gosh.
Off of Kanye
that shoot from yesterday. He's still mad at us.
Oh, that's
I should have got a
John Legend is overrated.
Yeah, John Legend. That's a different story. That's a story. Like he's over.
Sage person.
John Legend, we love you, baby.
Hey, but G, off of Kanye for 2 seconds, I want to ask a question because we talked about gang culture, right? Sure. And gang. Do you think, because I know you feel like there's a lot of people that gangs let in that they shouldn't let in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
and the people that's getting in the gangs are benefiting off the gang more than the gang is benefiting off of them.
Yeah,
Do you
Big
feel that
Sean
way?
is corny too.
Who?
And that's the homie. Shout out to Big Sean. Big Sean. Like you could work with Big Sean too.
You had that?
No, because my niece was saying that. No,
let's not forget Big Sean corny.
No, but not like that.
He has to do something that's not street urban culture. He can market.
Forgive me, because don't get me wrong, these people are extremely talented, but I'm saying they're not like the low. Like it's different. They're like cool. You know what I mean? Like this is for real. Like I don't think he can market street talent. Like he couldn't break Push.
But yes, he did break Push. What are you talking about? He had Push came from being
one
in
big
the
record
group.
on Push.
Push came from being in the group to having himself be a solo artist, and that was all from a Kanye push.
But he never broke. He never broke. He don't have one hit record. That's a Push record with Kanye.
You think Push is too street for him?
Way too street. That's what I think. I think that's the problem.
He brought Push to a different light though.
No, he brought Push. He took a street nigga to like high fashion. He didn't take it. He couldn't break him though.
Yeah.
Like he can give hit records to John, he can give hit records to Cuddy, he can give hit records to motherfucking to Sean. He could not make it work with Push. Push way too cultured for that.
Hey, you know what the crazy thing is? He might have hurt Push brand more than helped his brand.
I mean, I think Push figured it out. Push was like smart. But I think he couldn't break push. I don't think he could really. I don't
Probably
think.
offered him.
I don't think he could break something from the streets. And this is why I be saying like imagine like I think if like Pharrell could, like it's different people. I don't think Ye could do it.
I think when push
Ye
started,
broke 2 Chainz.
Not really.
Yes, he did.
I think if he features
Yes, he
you on, just listen. I think if he features you on a song, you in the game. But I think when it's time to make your song, it's gonna be a little different.
I mean, what I'm saying like this though, like you remember when he went up to 106 in Park and he introduced the world basically to 2 Chainz, then they dropped the single and shit like that. That's how that whole shit.
That's because he put him on that song. He put him on the song that was on that
birthday song.
Oh, Mercy.
No,
that's
Mercy.
hard.
But the birthday song wasn't first.
That was hard.
Okay.
But that was also at the height of Kanye's power.
Oh, shout out to DT, my boy, Nas. The project he did with Nas.
Wow, yeah.
Like
that
for
was
that
a rush
project,
project, though. That was a rush
I'm
project.
about to say, are we using the
well, I'm mad at because
the
Nas is
con
like,
area, right?
But Nas is like to me the pinnacle of street urban culture. Like he's
Right.
where it hits at the most intellectual point, and it's still just street enough. He couldn't make it work with Nas. Not talking shit. Again, this is Kanye West, so obviously Kanye West has done shit. Look at Beans record. Like he got some records with some niggas. Cam. But I think when it came time to him knowing how to market, remember Rockefeller's marketing Beans. Remember Rockefeller's marketing Cameron. On his side, I don't think he really gets weirdly street urban culture.
But I got one for you.
Like him and Nas, no.
I'm starting to lean.
My thing with you, I've never talked about Kanye West. Oh, okay. Hold up.
Oh, he's
Don't even
leaning.
just
Wait a
run over
minute.
there. Just
Never-
jump over there.
Like,
I keep talking.
hold up.
Wow, he's
go
leaning.
back to the gang conversation.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we got him
no.
leaning now.
No, yeah, he offered me now. Hold on, let me think about it. But what I wanted to say about the gang conversation is some of the lames they let into gangs nowadays. You think that the lames are getting more out of the gang than the gang is getting from them, right?
Every time.
Okay. So do you think that gang banging has a marketing problem issue? Like
yes, now it does.
Huh?
Yeah, now. Well, it's actually been marketed really well,
but
I don't.
Like,
I think
fiscally, like bringing in income, bringing in financially. Is it making sense? Because like you said, gang, they are worldwide known. Everybody knows about Crips, Blood. They know about gang culture. But do you think that they're getting the type of financial backing that they should be from what they bring to the culture?
Well, I mean, obviously, which is why no gang should be ever charged with a RICO. I think it lacks infrastructure, right? So that's the first thing. Shout out to my older homies. They did a great job with the economy. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't to sell Sherman Hood, you had to buy Sherman from a homie. So like an ounce might have been like in a neighborhood, it might have been $150, but you can go to somebody else's neighborhood and get it for $80. But nah, the only way you can sell Sherman on the 7 is if you bought it from the older homies. Right, that was the economy. That was keeping dollars right there in the neighborhood. So you spent the extra $70 to support the economy, right? Same thing, every price, whether it was 8 ounces, like an apple juice bottle was full of Sherm, the small apple juice, like that shit might have been in the hood. It might have been $550. You can go to somebody else's neighborhood and buy for $400, but you paid the $550. A 16, a Snapple bottle of Sherm might have been, $1,200 in the neighborhood. You can go buy from somebody else for $900, but you paid the $12. So you kept all the money, instantly, like all here. You know what I mean? And that's what created the economy. It was an infrastructure. I don't think most gangs have that. You know what I mean?
But don't you think that there's a lot of money being made off of being a gangbanger, and it ain't the gangbangers that's making it all the time?
That's why I be arguing with y'all that I'm not finna not do this.
There should be like 6 or 7 prominent gang members making money off just being a Crip.
I agree.
Just being a Blood. That's
been my point.
Okay.
That's been my point. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why. So when everybody feels like Glasses, man, you do this, it's like everybody else is monetizing this without no commitment to people, without to the people who actually bring validity to the story.
Where do you think gangs are marketing wrong? Like, where do you think the marketing is going wrong? What do you?
I don't think the marketing is going wrong. I think most people that's from gangs don't see the value in it.
So other people see the value in it more
But
than.
I think it goes like you
right?
say,
Think
like
about
people with who they bring in, they're not seeing what value do they have.
Well, think about it, right? Who does Adam always hire?
You talking about Adam Sandler or
No,
Adam 22 gang
Gang
member,
so
gang
we got to talk
member,
about Adam Sandler earlier.
somebody who's culturally influenced or has some type of street urban culture to bring to his company.
Think about who we gonna hire. We just don't see the hip hop never saw the value of hip hop. I mean, they saw that's why they start monetizing it. They saw the value of hip hop. They saw the value in street urban culture and the artistic expression and elements. We didn't see it.
Well, this is
It was just what we did on Thursday.
See, but I think that's when me and you get in arguments sometimes. I think that's be my point about hip hop. I don't think that we see the value in being hip hop and just being hip hop. Like,
I think historically we have to realize that the Willie Lynch letter is real, and like as Black people, we have been taught to not to see the value in ourselves and in each other. So that's why people, we still battling so many racial systematic things and influences.
What's funny? People. What's funny is,
exactly. Yeah.
What's funny is I don't know if that's really, I don't buy it because I think that's standard for every community. So if it would be just independently of Black people, it'd be different. Right, like if it was, independently just Black people that do this, I'll be all in on the Willie Lynch letter. But the problem is the same thing happening in East LA. Yeah. Same thing happening in Little Cambodia town. Same thing. Watch the movie Town. That's based off some real shit happening in Boston. So this is not something unique to us. We don't have this belief of tearing ourselves down. This is just normal. Poor people kind of fight over limited resources, and some people get torn down in the process.
I don't think that we tear ourselves down. I don't think, a lot of people think that Black people crab in the barrel kind of situation. We just, sure. But I think that we got to figure out how to monetize our cool though. We got to try to.
I know that's why I'm not letting nobody talk me off. Trust me, I done had everybody, their mama try to talk me off the square. Now that I understand, can't tell nobody tell me nothing about this right here. I'm not even listening to niggas saying something opposite. But you have to know that. All this, I figured it out, and then now I watch every day somebody prove the point. This street urban culture car shit, I've been telling niggas, we made this album, Doc come out with GNX. I'm arguing with my homeboys, AD, Pun, and them in the group chat, telling them like, man, this is a real LA thing, that Regal, that GNX, that Grand National. AD and Problem knew what a Grand National was, but he had no desire for it. AD didn't even know what it was. They had no idea of how we looked at certain things as success that weren't the most expensive things, but we made them the coolest things. Like there were better and more expensive cars in 1987 than the Buick Grand National or the Buick GNX. They were not the top echelon models of cars. They had fucking BMWs and Benzes then. But culture is really rooted in succeeding and having something that's nice, that's affordable. Like the best lowrider, right, in a 64 Impala was not cool as an SS. A Super Sport, the highest model version of an Impala, is not the cool Impala, the low ride. The best version of an Impala, the low ride, is the base model, the bench seat, this, that, and the third. That's culture. You don't cook, you don't cook romaine lettuce the same way you cook greens.
But to your point, Glasses, that's us helping monetize somebody else shit, and us we got to figure out how to bring value to our own shit.
But we do that a lot. It's not about monetizing. Like we don't monetize Chevy when we turn Impalas into Impalas, right? We the thing is we create the culture that makes it work. Because if you just have a regular Impala, it's cool now, but it wasn't at that time. It was when we did our thing to it that made it cool.
Our thing,
like Chucks by themselves, is just regular.
Jordan wasn't shit until we made them. Like Jordan wasn't $200 and $500, $600, $700 aftermarket until we made them dope.
It goes back to you. I remember a few years ago, I don't know if you remember this, when you said, what is our sense of responsibility to the culture? And I remember you was like talking for like maybe 2 hours about that, and at the time I was working, doing a lot of photos and videography. And I had met somebody who was like, I didn't really talk to Black people for 28 years. And I was like, they used to do the Confederate flag fighting, reenactment. They didn't mess with Black people at all. And I was like, well, how did you get into hip hop culture? And it's just like, I realized that it was more valuable for me to get into hip hop culture because I would make more money with photos of like rappers and singers. And I was like, damn, you went from Confederate flag fighter to that. Now I'm straight in hip hop, and she was like, well, it was the value in it. And I was like, people see the value in hip hop. People see the value in us. And
I've been saying this the whole time. Trust me. That's like why I tell you about the Crip story. You and King argue with me instead of listening to me. I've been telling y'all this for a long time, but y'all just not listening to me, that this is the ultimate value. There's nothing more polarizing and valuable than this. Like, right? Poor Blackness, not just Blackness, because Blackness can be fucking lame as fuck. Obviously, Kanye is a perfect example of that. Poor blackness is different. That desire to make the best out of your circumstances is a different level. You feel me? It ain't just black.
Try this around in school all day.
No different than whiteness in America.
Anybody say anything to you about
read
it?
the correct way. But something happens to poor black people made Jordans what they were. Not just black people. Poor black people. They made them a fucking trophy. A fucking shoe. Hey, you know what? I got these $120 shoes.
And I was watching myself.
There's no way in the world that Chucks should still be a thing.
Yes, there are.
No, I see what he's saying. But again, the way they do them versus the way they're done is different. So again, like Timberlands, the New York brothers made Timberlands like that. Timberlands is fucking work boots. Them motherfuckers for snow. Man, them niggas don't tie them motherfuckers. They lace them motherfuckers loose. It just be, you be like, damn, them motherfuckers is cool.
Have the pad leathers and everything. Yeah.
So again, shout out to my niece who's going crazy at the lunch table. She's saying it's not just hip hop, it's black music, period, because all black music comes from poor black people. Yes.
Black culture.
But again, the problem is when you make it just like that, right? When you just say black culture, that's the problem. So it makes people who really couldn't create nothing think that they get it. And it's like, it's not enough respect for creatives in that space. Like so, again, if
it becomes so inclusive when it comes to creativity.
Well, because that's the thing that's important to me.
One of the most racist dudes.
Because it's like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying wealthier black people can't create something. I'm just saying innovation, right, is rooted in necessity, right? Yeah. Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Definitely.
So if you doing good and you up, there is no reason to fucking create.
And that's most white people.
I mean, but there are some black people like that. That's the problem.
Yeah, but okay. I'll argue with you today.
No, I'm saying there are some black people that never had soul food that will cuss us out because of the way we talk about this soul food. There are some black people who speak perfect English that cuss us out about hip hop. They exist and they're not small. They're not a small number. Like a boule, that
not
boule
a huge number either, though.
That boule shit is a real thing. That's why the greatest attack on hip hop has always came from black people. Always, historically.
You feel that way?
It's a fact. It's not even my opinion. Like the greatest attack, when Snoop, all these people, the greatest attack comes from black people. Because black people don't all resonate in this get down.
And some black people are very mad about the standard that other black people represent. So they don't.
There was black people talking shit about people eating soul food.
Definitely.
The whole time. Some niggas ain't with
that.
It's black people in my inbox talking about my fake hair.
Motherfucking thief, no fucking pig. You know, because soon as you got some money, you said the same shit. So imagine somebody that been had some money. Nigga, dudes, we got some money. All of us growing up, for mostly all of us, some of us maybe not, but for all of us growing up, that chitlins was like you knew that was special.
Yes.
I just never had a pig foot in my life.
Oh, for love.
Damn.
I haven't.
Don't say that.
I was born in LA.
We were just moved to Inglewood. We were talking to the homie Jason yesterday. We was like, Inglewood is a little bit kind of uppity. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like, y'all are a little uppity.
No, we got to argue.
Even police cars look different. You know the Inglewood police cars differently from
amongst poor black people. Inglewood is kind of like up here.
Little bougie.
Inglewood poor people is at the top of like. They kind of like almost working class.
They almost like Hawthorne.
They ain't that.
Yeah, chitlins, none of that.
Okay, first of all, I was born in LA.
Hog Mog, all that shit.
I moved to Inglewood when I was 9.
Hog Mog.
Oh, that don't count.
First time I heard the word hog mog was on Friday.
Yeah,
you remember what I'm saying? So like,
what is a hog mog? What are y'all talking about?
What? Oh my god!
I still don't know what it is.
We have a 1%. We have a 1%.
Said, "What's a hog mog?"
I don't know what a hog mog is.
From the rooter to the tutor.
We have a 1% right here. We have a 1%.
Everything on the pig.
He said, "They uppity as fuck."
Uppity as fuck.
He said, "No pig feeds, no nothing."
Shout out to my homie Don Dub. He said, "Boule is definitely real. Well-to-do Negroes have always been the poor person's number one enemy."
See, okay, but then we got to go back to another comment that you said earlier about black people not tearing each other down. Like you said you don't believe that black people tear each other down.
He said doesn't believe that black people only.
No, I don't think it's exclusive. And I don't think that's the Boule's goal is to tear people down or like people that's doing better. I think they don't understand what's happening. So they like, you know, I realize this. A lot of black people feel like, well, I made it, you can make it too. That's niggas' greatest things. That's the one thing I will say that's exclusive to Negroes in this country. That whole aspirational, well, I'm gonna show niggas I can make it, they can make it because I made it. Everybody else know they gotta help each other. Negroes historically, like, well, you know, I'm gonna help because I'm aspirational. They see me, they know
do
they
you
can
not
make
think
it.
that was
I'm gonna
placed
be
in
the
us, though?
example. I ain't got
You
to
don't
go
think
the
that was
rope.
placed in us though? I don't think that's a black thing. I think that was a white thing.
I don't know because I don't know if I think that. I don't know. I don't. Let's not even sit there because that's
Okay.
it's like, you know, that'd be a whole nother.
But I think you're right with that not just being black people, because me, like growing up in Hispanic culture too, every culture has that, you know, has that thing within itself. I just think that other cultures help each other more, that the racism doesn't separate them as much as black people.
Well, when you go back in these cultures lineage, they're a lot. They have a lot different journey than the
definitely.
the actual black
Americans. That's why I
Americans.
said, which is a whole different story. So I don't even want to target that. Again, I'm not holding it against that. I'm just saying the mentality of like back to hip hop that well-to-do black folks have probably been the greatest adversity to the growth of hip hop. But again, I don't think it was out of like some level of like, oh, fuck them broke ass niggas, as much as it's like, I don't understand what's going on. It's like when I talk about gangster people, people really think like, I talked to a brother yesterday that came by the video shoot. His name was Ken Chronicle Media. And I was explaining to him that how like, I was explaining to Problem and telling him like, you know, if you didn't really go out and practice any level of diplomacy in different communities, you really missed the point of what made gangbanging great. And he heard the term great, and he automatically went to a space that good, like great is an exaggerated version of good versus great being this impactful thing. Like Hitler is a great man. It don't mean he was a good man.
Right.
Like somebody impactful. And so I'm telling him, if you didn't go out and practice any level of diplomacy, if you didn't go to Crenshaw and hung out on the boulevard, that's the Black Country Club of Los Angeles, the poor Black Country Club, and seeing how brothers love their cars, you kind of missed the point. If you just sat in your community as a gang member and you just was there, just hanging out every day, you didn't go out to explore, you missed the point. This is what the whole point was about. The whole point to me, right, and from the people that created it, the kids, right, because they 16-year-old kids, Raymond Washington, Craig Craddock, they went out to different communities to meet people. This is how they created this thing that we call Crips. This is why this thing called Bloods is created, because the communities that existed already, that was like, no, we ain't trying to be a part of new thing. Well, we'll fight. Let's see who's stronger. Well, the Chain Gang had strong people. The Athens Park Boys had strong people. The Paru Street Boys had strong people. The Athens Park Boys had strong people. The Bounty Hunters had strong people. Before they were Bloods, they was already communities rooted together. The Brims had strong presence.
Do you think that people have a misconception about gangbanging?
Yeah.
Like they look at gangbanging as some scary thing, like, oh, people dying. And it's honestly just a microcosm of what goes on in the world everywhere.
Any poor place you go.
Yeah, any place you go.
For some reason, this has like this completely unique stigma that people think is really different, and then you just be stuck. And it's like, okay, cool, I get it. I'm not tripping. But then when you try to clarify it, it's almost crazy. Because they'll be like somebody was telling me that the other day. Like, I'm like, bro, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Man, glad you don't know what I'm talking about. No. Like, I gangbanged for real. I'm from the set for real. I went to other people's community. I went and hung out at other people's shit. I went and met people. I went on the boulevard. We went to other people's hood days. We went to their neighborhood, play sports against them. We went to the store, stopped in their communities. Like, we did everything you could do when it comes to how you have these experiences. And it depends on the type of person you are. You either gonna build with brothers or you gonna fight with brothers.
I don't even think gangbanging is just you can just put it straight with poor people. I think that's what gangbang. What'd you say?
I said it's an organization. It's
it's organization. It happens in all brands of life, everywhere. Like I know Crips, I know Bloods who remind me of people I know in upper management at Northrop or something like that. Like
I think some of my older homies feel me straight up could Ernie and them, man, them dudes, Plug, Moon, them dudes could have ran a Fortune 500 company. Man, all them dudes brilliant.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, this is where this is what they had, and this is what they mastered. So
that's the way it is with everything, though, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So so back to the point of hip hop, we don't see the value in it because we're for a lack of better terms, forgive me, pursuing whiteness. That's just really the fact.
I agree.
Black people look at success in whiteness. They just do.
I agree.
So everything they're gonna think of success is white. It's European. It's something that they feel like is price high. It ain't never just something as simple as internal peace, internal fortitude, internal things. That's what really wealth is. It's more of health than anything on outside. Relationships with other humans. They don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. They look at success, and this is Kanye's problem. He sees success in white. Like the other day, he was ranting on Twitter, and he said, "I should have got with Paris Hilton. You know, I could have had like, this lady don't own no fuck hell. Like, how has it not hit you that you should have got with a sister still? Because he only sees it as success and as a raise of brand. So his pursuit of money and wealth and fame, right, is rooted in whiteness. That's why he's going to always idolize white men. He's going to always idolize Walt Disney. He's going to always idolize da. That's it.
But this is why I feel like hip hop is a black culture, because to me, hip hop mirrors what goes on in black culture. Well, and with black people in general, I feel like and I know we're not going to talk about that, but because black people's journey was so different than the rest of these races in this country, I think that we're a little late to the party in figuring out greatness in ourselves and trying to figure out how to work with that. Like a lot of these other races, they do that stuff on their own. They'll find their own little area and they'll build with each other and they'll work together. I think because the way we were brought into this country, we're a little late to that party. We don't understand how great we are as a people yet.
I mean, I'm not mad at that neither. Again, that's a different journey and a different trip. But I don't think our problems are unique.
But do you not feel like that's the thing? Same thing going on with hip hop. You don't think hip hop understand how great it is?
I just don't think that's unique. Like East LA experiences the same thing Inglewood does to the T, and there's not a nigga in sight. You know what I'm saying? East LA goes through the exact same thing that Inglewood does, and it ain't a brother in sight.
But I would say that in a lot of these areas, like you said, East LA and all this kind of stuff, I feel like that is in those places there are a lot of mom and pop spots that are owned by Mexicans. It's a lot of Mexican ownership going on out there.
Sure.
And you don't see a lot of that in black areas.
But that's also, this is gonna sound crazy. Again, we're pursuing whiteness.
Right? But I agree with you, and I feel like that. I don't because know how was brought into this country. That's what we know. We know whiteness.
I don't know because I think people in Africa is like that.
But
like the first thing a nigga from Nigeria do that didn't come across on no slave shit, you know, his first fit he go buy. A nigga buy a Gucci
beauty supply,
a Gucci hat, a Gucci outfit, hat to shoe.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Africans that's gonna disagree with you.
I will say that
I'm not mad at that, but I'm saying, you ever notice that, forgive me for a lack of better terms, the stereotype of most, like a person that came here that wasn't on the slave ship, when they buy European designer?
Yes.
Or is that like the scammer type?
You know? That's what I'm saying. I feel like you give me the scammer.
But I'm saying, but even seeing it that way, you know what I mean? Even seeing, like, you know, even seeing it that way is odd.
But a lot of Africans go to school in Europe anyway.
But I will say, to back up what you said, I feel like that is true. But in the same sense, I feel like COVID and where we are now, from COVID till now, I feel like it's been black people have evolved in the business world a lot more. I feel like now we have a lot more people who are like more having their own businesses, more doing their own LLC things, having more business more now. Then I feel like it's been like a boom, because Chase did a study on it and they showed
even when we was growing up, remember we wanted that, but we were kept out of some of those spaces. The people who did, I mean, we grew up for sure. When we would go to Inglewood, it would be black owners. For sure.
But I feel, well, you know, I grew up in there. I seen a bunch of.
I'm looking up there. You seen the boozy come out?
It was a lot of Asians out there.
I noticed that too. But they were also
telling us not to burn down their stores, black owned.
Yeah, but they were also the ones financed to get them here. When they couldn't get them in the white neighborhoods, they would let them get them where we were from. The same loans we couldn't get, and it's funny because I read about it, and then it was an Asian lady who made a meme on Twitter, a Korean lady saying that when they couldn't get these loans, they would give our people these loans, but they wouldn't let us open businesses in white neighborhoods. So they made us open business in black neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So again, this is all a part of the same systemic oppression.
But I feel like we fighting past that. I feel like in a major way now.
No, but just specifically to his point of the desire for black people to own in black neighborhoods. That's just not true. We wanted to, but again, we, like to his point, you come from a plantation, you come from background where you ain't got nothing, and then nobody ain't gonna loan you no money. But I'm gonna tell you the only reason I disagree, because we fuck with each other in the trade, right? So if like you hustling, like I only bought Sherm from black people. Like straight up, galleys. No, I never met a brother that tried to keep me out of the trade. Never in my life. I never met a brother like, well, I ain't finna sell these gallons to you. They got to go. No, we do business with each other fine when we can control the market, and the markets we can control. But the ones where we would need loans for money to open up like a business or buy a building, again, you gonna have to deal with the same systemic oppression at that point. Shout out to King Me. He said her name is Amy Chin. Yeah, I think that is her name. So it all comes down to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're making this conscious choice to not keep money in our community. It's actually engineered that way. But as far as hip hop itself, this specific version of black music, right, is also unique because it's like, why don't we see the value in it? Is because in my opinion, we're pursuing whiteness. So like, because I get more people mad than I'm proud to be a Crip. I get people mad about that. Yeah. Like I'm supposed to inherit, everybody that got shot because whatever personal situation they had, as if that versus I inherit the power of a bunch of poor people who made good and figured out and they found connection. That's how I see gangbanging. Some people do see gangbanging as like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Everybody died every day. I actually remember counting. I remember being there. I remember experiencing it. I remember every relationship I had. I remember the first person to help me in the music business is a dude named Tone from Villagetown, Peru. We called him Black Tone, not Tony Lane, but Villagetown, Peru. First person that ever gave me a shot on a label on a major stage was Big Face and G-Rod from Cedar Block, Peru. Gang. You know what I mean? Person that got me my first big contract, you know what I'm saying, is Mac 10. So again, ain't nobody tell me about my LA experience. And mine ain't unique.
I think when anytime black people come together and as a group, it's frowned upon.
Sure.
I mean, we don't look at
in a good way for sure.
Yeah, I don't, but that's another thing about gangs. I don't think gangs are all the way bad. I think in anything, bad stuff happens. So
especially poor.
Yes. So I think that anytime people see black people getting together and it's positive, they're going to turn it into something negative. They're going to frown up. It's going to be frowned upon, because what's the difference between gangs and biker gangs and all that?
Yeah, they made a whole TV show about
they made a whole TV about this.
Sons of Anarchy was my best season I ever saw.
Tried them motherfuckers murdered their mama 6 and everything. That nigga murdered his mama. They were trying to explain to me why it made sense. I'm like, listen, bro. In black culture, there's never an okay reason to murder your mother. I just rather not talk to her anymore.
You were going to freeway at a certain time of day, the 15, 20 bikers just lined up riding on the freeway, and you supposed to respect them. You got to move out the way of them.
And niggas know.
And they know. We know.
Get out the way,
like them Hell's Angels.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they give you the thumb, you got to put your head up like, okay, I seen it.
Exactly. So that's my thing. But soon as black people come together,
it's like, oh, look at them niggas.
But there's a reason for that, though, man. There's a reason for that. I think they see the power in if black people get together.
Sure, I agree. I don't think that. I think we all agree. You know what I'm saying?
That dates back to even back in the days, though. They said the reason why the gun laws got so the way they did was because
exactly.
I think my problem.
Y'all bought these guns legal. We got to change that.
I think my problem is that we always know how people look at us. I think like what I try to do every day is like try to just help influence how we see us, because I feel like that's what matters the most. People gonna always look at us however they look at us, but I feel like my sister responsibility is to make sure that how we look at us is important.
And that's how I do it, and that's kind of my focus as well. Like that's why I explain gangs the way I do in detail. You know, some people think I'm actually glorification or glorified. I'm like, I don't see the glory of it. I'm just telling you this is the fact of it. Now, whatever you do with it, if you think that's glorious, that's your thing. That's your cross to bear. I'm just proud of where I'm from, like anybody else should be. I'm proud of my experience. I'm proud of my people. I don't see the same negative things when I look at my older homies or people from my community or people we even war with. I don't see that. I watch a bunch of people trying to survive and trying to work out problems and fight because they can't. You know what I mean? And sometimes die because they can't work out problems. You know what I mean? I see it. I don't see it the way everybody else do. I'm not gonna let nobody change it. And the same goes for hip hop. Like that's why I protect it the way it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was saying that to me. He's like, Les, I don't know if I could be down. Shout out to Ken. He's like, I don't know if I could be down with some more people kill black people. I'm like, well, they kill black people in Africa. People just hurt each other. I mean, there's nothing I could really say about why people want to fight and take that route. But I tell you one thing, we don't do it just because we black. You can best for sure there's another problem. Whatever that problem was meant entirely too much. Somebody could have a bad day. So I don't think that's okay in no form of existence. It's not ours or anybody else's. But I'm saying we ain't never hurt each other just because we was black.
Yeah,
that
no,
ain't
for
never
sure.
happened.
Yeah, if we grow up in an area with 5,000 black people, and that's your area, and you in your area every day, all day, who you gonna have a fight with?
Yeah.
Who you gonna have? Who you
Just
gonna
like
get into
like East LA. They're not beefing with no motherfucking black gang. They
Right.
are beefing. The two oldest gangs fight each other over there. They don't give a fuck. It's not a nigga from there.
Bro, I'm when I was younger, I'm chilling in Santa Monica. I'm at some burger spot or whatever. I'm in there chilling. Mexicans ran up on me and took his gun out and everything. Well, yeah, Santa Monica chilling. A bunch of Mexicans ran up on me, took that gun and everything, asked me where I'm from. As soon as I looked up and told them, and I started talking, they said, "You black?" And I was like, "Yeah." They walked up out of there.
Yeah, like,
They just thought I was a Mexican dude.
Oh, because you do got that little weight on there.
Like they just thought I was a Mexican. As soon as they said I was black, they was like, "Oh, man, this is
Okay.
got shit to
Big
do with
Wedo
us."
out. Big Wedo, not the little one.
All right, well that's it.
Thought you was a Mexican. Thought you was a can man.
Like that.
Mexican.
No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soapbox. Please, we need 100 likes. I hope we got 100 likes on YouTube. How many likes we got on YouTube?
Let me check.
We got 100 likes on YouTube.
Hey, Glasses, you need to tell them you on it's on your stuff too. Glasses. Maybe they only looking for it on Soapbox.
I know I gotta figure it out. We're supposed to talk to Still. Do we got 100 likes yet?
No, we only got 48.
Yeah,
that's good.
All right.
How many
Get the
viewers on
merch,
YouTube
get
now?
the merch, get the merch.
49 people watching. So we
Okay, that's not that bad. I can,
100%.
that means all the people on Twitter is watching. Shout out to everybody on Twitter. Retweet this link.
They probably on
We do this to support the No Ceilings podcast. Dropping a fresh episode tomorrow should be really good. It's deep. Podcast be deep because it's all audio and it's focused, and we ain't. It's different. But you can go check it out on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast from. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlamagne the God, the Black Effect Podcast Network, and iHeart. Head over to thecripstore.com, grab you some merch. Shout out to Mop Whack TV for that $1. I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Diamondback Photography for the $2. Some of the nicest people I've met were in gangs. Man, that's how I feel about a lot of homies. They are really some great people. I mean, some pieces of shit, but it's a lot of great people in there. But much love to y'all. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Out this thing.